Hey everybody, pretty sure that I'm live, but it just like has that lag. So I wanted to answer Ryan McNichol's question about follow-up. It's a great question and one that everybody struggles with, right? So, I mean, it really depends on what kind of sales you're in, like what you're selling. So, if you're in a really relationship sales job, follow up is absolutely key. I mean, it's follow up is key no matter what. But a lot of times you're going to need the higher the price of what you're selling, typically the more follow up is needed because more trust needs to be built before the person moves forward, regardless. One thing that I learned that is so true is you should not contact a client without a valid business reason. So that means don't contact them to be like, hey, wanted to see if you wanted to buy my thing. Just checking in. Just wanted to check in. All of those things. Like nobody cares. Imagine your client is super busy, your prospect, right? They've got a ton of shit on their plate. They're probably doing their own sales. And they don't want to like give you an update just for shits and giggles. So having a valid business reason means like we have this promotion that's going away. This is why I often suggest having some sort of urgency incentive that you can implement, like a 24-hour scholarship, depending on what you're selling. Or like if you move forward in the next week, I can offer you this extra value. So then you have the reason to say like, hey, like wanted to see if you're going to take advantage of this extra value. Other ideas are results. So if there are results that you can share, just got off the phone with my client. They have already gotten a 300% return after working together, and they were talking about like what a relief it is to have this dialed in, and they were struggling with the same thing as you. So it really made me think of you and wanted to reach out and ask if have you made any, are you still struggling with the same stuff, or like where are you on timeline, stuff like that. Another idea is to, depending on what you sell, you can, like Ryan sells for somebody who has plenty of testimonials that you can screenshot or take a Loom video of, and say like, these made me think of you. I can't wait to see you seeing the same results. How are you feeling about everything? Like, where are you in your decision-making process? Another idea, I used to work for a long time at corporate selling digital marketing. And one of the things that I always tell everybody, sales should be a combination of things from everybody, like styles that you like. There's no one size fits all. You guys know I'm about that. So a custom to you style is going to work the best. And that comes from, seeing stuff that you like that resonates with you. So this guy I worked with, Paul, I loved Paul. We used to do four-legged calls. I was the digital specialist and he was the print specialist at a newspaper. And so we worked with automotive clients, which are terrible people typically. But the way that we stayed in front of them is that we would send them updates about things like in their industry. So like a Volkswagen person, like we would send them updates on something we saw Volkswagen do that we could leverage locally. Or maybe there's like an article about new trends for car dealerships that are working really well. What do you think about trying something like this? Ideas, you can email somebody or call them and say, I saw this really funny video. It made me think of you. Is that something that you'd be interested in? Ideas are always good. Ways to keep them updated, ways to make their life easier so they don't have to think of stuff. They don't have to do stuff. And it's a valid business reason. It's a reason that you thought of them in a way that could be valuable to them. That's definitely a powerful way to follow up. And if you consistently follow up like that, somebody's going to be like, oh man, this person's bringing me so much value. I want to work with them. Because most people are following up and saying like, just making sure you got my last email, which is so annoying to receive. It's like, yeah, I got your email. But I don't want to tell you about it because I don't want to have a conversation about it because I know you're just trying to sell me something instead of bringing me value, if that makes sense. So painting a picture of what their life could look like after working with you by sharing results, or talking about, ideas that you have that could really impact their business in different ways. Compliments are great too. Saw this thing that you did, really loved it. Where, and say something genuine about it rather than just really loved it. Really loved like the authenticity of it, or the messaging made me laugh, or the color scheme, the new branding felt very professional and classy. Something that feels genuine, and then asking them like where they are on their decision making timeline. So, depending again, like on how big the client is, there were times where we had to follow up for an entire year to land, a $1 million contract or like a $500,000 contract or something, but so worth it, right? The more consistently you're there with their best interests in mind, the more likely they are going to move forward with you rather than you being like, hey, I mean, the deals also work. Like we're having a special, like that stuff does work, but that's not the only reason you want to reach out to somebody. So having a good mixture of these things is really going to help. And then obviously in your conversation, you want to know what their pain points are so that you can follow up with information that's specific to those pain points. So like, I know you were really struggling with like different ways to edit your videos that don't take a ton of time. Found this app for you. Obviously when we work together, we would edit that for you so you wouldn't have to worry about it. But in the meantime, this is a really cost-effective option. Hope you're doing great. You don't even need to ask them every time for a sale. You can just touch base and offer value. And they're like, wow, that's really nice. Thank you. Just think about like how people follow up with you and how much that would stand out to you. If somebody was just like, hey, I remember when we talked, you mentioned that you really needed to find somebody to help you with your admin tasks. And I recently found this amazing assistant, and I wanted, would you be interested in their information? Not even trying to sell them something. It's just, how can I help you? Because of what was customized to them, what you talked about, it's going to make them feel like you really care. You have their best interests in mind and you were listening and you're not just trying to sell them. So as long as it's a valid business reason that is valuable to the other person, not just you, that is how I would recommend to follow up. If you can text, definitely better, because emails can get lost for sure. And videos are also very powerful. So being able to film a video and being like, hey, it's me, and saying the same stuff that you might say in an email. It's going to remind them that you're a human and they can't just keep ghosting you because that's rude. They'll feel bad about it. So anyway, I hope that this is helpful for you guys. Let me know if it is. Let me know if I missed anything or follow-up strategies that you really love and have found to be really powerful. I know BombBomb is another good one. BombBomb helps you make videos that you can see when they watched them, but Loom does that too. So then you can follow up again after they watch them and see what they thought of whatever you sent. So anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing Wednesday and close tons of sales. All right, bye.